Hello, everyone. Welcome to Afro Swag Media and Magazine. My name is Deborah. As always, I'll be your host on this show. Today, I have three very special guests. I'm going to bring them one by one so that they can tell us who they are. Hello.
Hey, hello.
Who do we have here?
Ochanda of Kush Konvos Podcast, the voice and the personality of the show.
All right. I love that, Ochanda. Hold your thoughts right there. I'm going to bring um hey, hello.
Bonjour, bonjour. Ms. Deborah, how you doing?
Bonjour. I didn't know you spoke French.
A little bit, I speak everything.
All right. Who do we have here?
My name is Maxwell. I also go by William. That's my Sudanese name, my traditional name. So you can call me whatever you like.
All right. Thank you so much. And we have one more. Hello. Can you hear me?
I don't think you can hear you.
Oh, okay. He can hear me. Oh, you can hear me?
Oh,
If you don't mind, can you please unmute yourself and tell us who you are? All right. I think he's having some technical difficulties. Oh, can you hear us now?
Yeah.
Oh, he's gone. He's going to come back on. So, like previously announced, today we have three special guests, and Ochanda, Maxwell, and then Kush is going to log on in a minute. And all three are from, okay, he's coming back. All right. Can you hear us, Kush? We will give him some few minutes. All right. How is everyone doing?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
It's a bit of a lag.
Yes, I can hear y'all.
Okay. Do you mind telling us who you are?
Tommy, you want to go ahead?
All right. Let's continue. I hope he can figure that out and then join us later. So, Ochanda and Maxwell, how are you guys doing?
I mean, we doing good if we here with Deborah on Afro Swag, right? So we must be doing something right.
And likewise, just to add on to William,
Y'all can,
we're in good spirits.
All right.
Can y'all hear me,
Absolutely.
Coach Deb?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me? All right. So
I can hear y'all. As long as it's working. The connection is kind of bad, but yeah.
Oh, I see. Kush Konvos Podcast. What is it?
So Kush Konvos was created last year after the midst of the pandemic. You know, we had a lot of time on our hands. We couldn't really go a lot of places. So we just started thinking. We just kind of, just like everybody, we're probably in our mind, but we're like, okay, what's the best situation we can make out of this? So we were like, okay, just like in every business, any situation, you have to find out what's your niche. What can you bring to your community or to your base that you want to serve?
Mm-hmm.
We happen to come from Omaha, Nebraska, one of the largest communities of the South Sudanese community, also the Togolese community as well.
Mm-hmm.
So we're thinking, you know, there's a lot of negativity that comes from where we're from. People have all types of stereotypes and beliefs about who we are and where we come from and what happens here without ever even going beyond the surface of what they hear. So we're like, you know, we're a place that has so many success stories, but we don't have a platform to highlight these success stories.
Mm-hmm.
We're like, you know, why not us? Why not us create that platform for our own success stories? Because at the end of the day, you know, charity begins at home. If you don't tell your story, like they always say, African proverb, the lion never gets to tell the story. The hunter tells the story. So we took that to heart, and we were like, okay, regardless if we have the resources or what, we're going to start this thing, and it's going to continue, even if it's at another level, like beyond us, you know, in the future generations. We want to be the ones to start this. So what we're here to do is to highlight the success stories of the Black diaspora in general, and especially communities that have not had a voice, particularly where we come from. So that was one of it, but we also really wanted to change the narrative of our community. Instead of just violence, gangs, this and that, we have so many people becoming models, professional athletes, authors, engineers, STEM, the whole STEM field, everything that there is, we're excelling in it, but it's just not highlighted. So the motivation behind this platform was just to create a voice for us, those that are unheard, who are not represented on the large scale. Ochanda, do you want to add to that?
Yeah, Kush Konvos Podcast was created for those things, as well as it's a tool to highlight, like you said, the success stories of the African diaspora, as well as attempt to solve the problems from that which we have. Way too often we just speak about the problems and the issues that we face in the diaspora, and hardly rarely do you have individuals or groups or entities that provide solutions.
Okay.
Kush Konvos is for.
So you guys said a lot that not everybody watching us knows about. So talking about where you come from, talking about your origins, talking about the Black diaspora, talking about the African diaspora. We're going to first tell our audience, where are you guys coming from? When you kept saying Maxwell, when you kept saying where we're coming from, where we're from, what do you mean?
So I'm proud to say that I come from South Sudan, the newest country in the world.
Yeah.
You guys might have heard of it. You might have heard some good things. You might have heard some bad things. But we're here to correct that story. We're here to highlight the best and the brightest that we have to offer.
Okay.
And Ochanda, he's historically a South Sudanese as well. His story is a little more interesting than mine, a little bit, right?
Okay, we'll get to Ochanda in a minute.
Okay.
But you just said that you're coming from South Sudan.
Yes.
Okay, and how long have you been in the US?
Oh man, you're gonna make me feel old now. I came here in 1992. I was 4 years old.
Okay, 1992. You just gave your age to
You guys can do the math. You guys can do the math.
the audience, and we have a shout out, Jasmine, and she said, "Hey, Kush Konvo." Hey, Jasmine, thank you so much for tuning
That's
in.
all our African American brothers and sisters.
And then we have Amen, very much needed. Who is that? Do you guys know her?
Riley
from Sioux Falls, I believe.
Yeah, I definitely know who that is.
Yeah. All right, and then we have one more. We have Charity.
Charity Mondi.
Charity. Yeah. Shout out to Charity. Charity begins at home.
All right, so we have a lot of people tuning in, and thank you so much for tuning in and being here with us tonight. So getting back to you, Maxwell, you said you first got to the States in 1994, and we have Riley telling us she's logging on from North Dakota, and then someone else just said, "Hello, my brothers." All right, Maxwell.
Yes.
You've been here since 1994.
1992.
I'm sorry, 1992, and you were 4 years old.
Yes.
Got here. All right, Ochanda, where are you from?
All right. Yeah, I'm also from East Africa. Okay. I'm blessed that, unlike some other people that I have met, I've had two fathers. See, I'm a child of two Kenyan parents, two proud Kenyan parents, but my parents split, and then my mom got remarried to a South Sudanese man that has raised me here in America. And I love that guy, man. Dad, if you're watching, and I know you're watching, I love you, Dad. Both dads. But South Sudan, I grew up in a cultural South Sudanese home because of him, and it's made me the man who I am today.
I love that. I love that. So we are going to take a quick break. Guys, if you're watching, don't go away. We're going to take a quick break, probably to allow Kush to get back on. And I don't know, Max or Ochanda, if you can get with Kush or something, either of you. That way
Well,
you can also be on.
we'll make sure that we get Kush that Jeff Bezos internet.
All
So
right.
we'll
So
have him
The
on.
out of world internet.
we only have about 30 seconds, right?
Good. Sounds
All
good.
right. We will be back. Guys, don't go away.
A question that I got
is
I love that. Now, where does the name Kush Konvos come from? Is that a strain of some
You know,
of some plant? What is Kush?
yeah, and that's a great question because obviously because of what Kush is known to be now in this time of existence, it's known linked to something. But for us, the three of us at this table, and for all Nilotes across the world, what Kush is the Kush kingdom, and
The Kush what?
the Kush kingdom.
Let's go.
Kush
Drop a Kush
kingdom.
bomb.
Drop a Kush bomb. So it's a commemoration to the ancestors, that were around before all these tribes existed, and some of the things that do ties together. So, which like us being culturally diverse in what we are, right? Kush is something that we do stem from. So, we got to use that to bring us to the table. At
You
that
teaching
point,
me.
All right. Thank you so much for staying with us. My name is Deborah for those that are just joining. And this is Afro Swag Media and Magazine. We took just a little break to allow our brother Kush to get back on. He was having some technical difficulties. So I'm going to bring them back. And today, like previously announced, we have Kush Konvos Podcast. We have Ochanda, Kush, and Maxwell with us tonight. Let me bring them on. Hello.
What's going on, Coach Dev? How you doing?
All right, Kush. So, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you, Coach Dev?
Good. It's a little dark. I don't know why it's a little dark over there. If you can please.
Lighten it up.
Yeah. So, yes, much better. So, we previously had Ochanda and Maxwell introduce themselves. If you can please introduce yourself, that would be awesome.
Yeah. Good evening. First things first. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you, Coach Dev, for the platform. And I'm Kush God. 3/3 of the Kush Konvos Podcast. A little bit about who I am is self-made intellectual. I read every day, and it's all to be able to garner knowledge, to be able to converse with my brothers on the podcast, and then to get a wide range perspective on just what life is in general,
Okay.
especially on the diaspora, because I didn't get a chance to really learn a lot about Africa growing up, especially West Africa, the brothers that were in the Caribbean also, the whole diaspora in general. So,
All right.
yeah,
All
that,
right.
yeah.
Thank you so much. It's still a little bit dark over there. If you can adjust the lighting. So hello. All right. We have Ochanda. Okay. Welcome back.
Hey, what's going on?
All right. So we have brother Kush on, and he just introduced himself. And we have, I believe, Maxwell is right there with Kush.
All right.
So It's still dark, guys. I don't know. Yeah, much better. All right. So, Push, do you mind telling us where you're from?
Uh, Raised in the Midwest. I lived in Nebraska since I was 15, 16 years old.
Mm-hmm.
But I was raised in Minnesota before that. I
Okay.
lived in the South and in the East Coast. So my experience kind of gave me a deep perspective of diversities, because everybody was different in those locations,
Mm-hmm.
which contributes to where I am now. And even with Kush Konvos, we're all culturally diverse. We got our Jalul brother here, uh, you know, Rahim Lokaku, right here. So I think that's helped out in life, is being from so many different areas, not one particular area. I'm a nomad, and I said that in episode 1. Tune into that.
All right. Thank you so much. So, Push Convo podcast, where does the name Push Convos come from?
The name Kush, uh, it's a joke, and it's an inside joke. We'll say it stems from something. But Kush itself is who our ancestors are, all three of us collectively. So, in order for us to look beyond our tribal boundaries, we had to look at something much bigger that ties us all together. And as Nilotes, being from South Sudan and stretching into northwestern Kenya, Seme, and stuff like that, uh, that's what Kush really means. It's a commemoration to the people who existed before Sudan was Sudan, before Egypt was even known as Kemet. There was Kush, there was Nova. We've been around, and that's where we get our name from. And it's a salute to where we come from.
Okay. Okay. So, did you guys know each other before coming together as Push Convos? Maxwell, you can also come on camera, Ochanda, whoever feels comfortable.
Go ahead, Ochan. You got this, big dog.
Yeah. Yeah, me and William, as known as Maxwell, we surprisingly we've known each other because our families have known each other all the way back in East Africa in Kenya, and then I believe that William and Kush, they have a story of knowing each other. I'm sure that our brother William here can tell it better.
Okay. Okay. So, to our viewers, I believe Maxwell is the same. I mean, it's William, right? Ochanda? You kept
Yeah,
saying William. That's Maxwell, right?
yeah.
Okay.
Actually, my
Maxwell,
grandpa, but
he
All
can
right.
explain better on the name, but I address him as William.
Okay. So, Maxwell, go ahead and tell us how did you meet Kush?
So me and Kush, we met in high school, Lincoln Northeast in Lincoln, Nebraska. I was a junior and he was a sophomore. He had just moved from Colorado, I believe. It was Colorado.
Yes.
Yeah, he just moved to Colorado, and we played basketball together. So he'd always come to open gym, and every time I see another South Sudanese, a new face, I always try to go befriend them because we all know what it's like coming into a new environment,
Mm-hmm.
G, certain things that come with that. So I befriended him. He was good at basketball, so I used to pick him on my team quite a bit. And through that, we just developed a relationship, and we've been close ever since then. And we actually recently reconnected the last 3 or 4 years, and we got really close, and that's how this whole thing came about.
Nice. Now, in your introduction, you mentioned the Black Diaspora. What
Yes.
do you mean by Black Diaspora? And anyone can intervene, Ochanda or Push.
And Shauna, you can go ahead and handle this one.
Please unmute yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, as far as the Black diaspora, what that means is, for those that are unfamiliar, the diaspora means, anything outside of the homeland. So, there can be a European diaspora, can be an Arab diaspora, Latino diaspora, and what we mean by
Asian diaspora.
right. So anything outside of the home, and so
Before you continue, so is that like a politically correct word of saying the immigrant?
So are you asking, just to confirm on what you're asking, is it a correct way to call an immigrant? Is a diaspora or a diaspora?
The question was, there is a negative connotation with immigrants.
Mm-hmm.
So, is it more politically correct to address any immigrant by diaspora?
Mm. See, when I hear the word diaspora
Mhm.
or the word immigrant, I don't look at it as an interchangeable. I personally look at the word diaspora and I would like to think that it encompasses everybody that's connected to the home. And in this case, the home that I am referring to and that we refer to when we say Black diaspora is Africa. So
Okay.
when we say the Black diaspora is that anybody of African ancestry. So African
Mhm.
Americans, African Caribbeans, African Latinos, African Brazilians.
So, rather than saying the African diaspora, when you say Black diaspora, it's that's just everybody that is connected to their motherland, Africa.
Absolutely.
All right. Max, did you have anything to add or push?
So before we continue, I have to highlight this because it's very important.
I'm going to project as we continue. I'm going to project, we have a lot of engagement here. I'm going to project those on the screen as we go. So Nzinga Mbande said, no, absolutely no. Diaspora means dispersed. And then
Oh,
we have GABA, for those that don't know, that's the Global African Business Association. And I believe that's Akindele Akinyemi, the president of GABA, tuning in from Michigan. And this is what he has to say about diaspora. He said the diaspora is rich in our respective cities in the US. The idea here is for us to leverage that talent and link the wealth between the continent and our local communities here to empower us. Wow. Thank you so much for that. We'll get back to Max or Kush. I
Okay.
think Max. Okay. So to you, what does that mean? Black diaspora, diaspora, African diaspora?
I kind of have, I don't like to divide our people as far as you're African and you're African American. At the end of the day, we all go through the same struggle. We all face the same prejudices. When we get stopped by an officer, they're not going to ask us, "Are you West Indian? Are you from Africa? Are you from America? Are you from Black Colombian?" That doesn't even matter at that point. So I think for us, you don't see Irish people being like, "Oh, are you Irish American? Or are you Irish born in America? Are you Irish born in Ireland?" They don't really separate themselves like that.
Mhm.
So I think we're still fighting an old battle that we need to really, really understand what's going on out here in these days that we're living in. And to add on to that, like I was going to say earlier, before we get too deep into this interview, I want to get deep for a second because what we're doing right now, I've mentioned that we're from South Sudan, East Africa. You're from Togo, West Africa, correct?
Yes.
We're the two largest African communities in Omaha, right? For the most part, numbers wise, we have huge settlements here, correct? So what we're doing right now is really history because, as you guys may know, some of you guys don't know actually, but our communities haven't really worked together. We haven't been on the same page at all. So for what we're doing right now, this is actually really unheard of. So I just wanted to big you up, Deb, for making this happen. You've never separated us. You've never looked at us any other type of way than as young brothers that you could coach and mentor. So I want to give that. I want to give you your flowers. You've been nothing but a godsend for us. Like you've opened so many doors for us that was never open before. And I know you're going to continue to do that for every other person that you meet, regardless of where they come from. So I just wanted to thank you for that before we start.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. We are all African. We come from Africa, and I don't see, any differences, any division. We are all going through the same struggle here as immigrants in the US, why not come together? I like bringing people together. And the moment I discover that I have brothers that have the same, vision and mission as Afro Swag Media and Magazine, because you guys are the Kush Konvos Podcast. And
Yes.
for
Yeah.
anyone that has never heard of Kush Konvos Podcast before, they're on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. What else?
We're in your neighborhood. You know, we're on the block. We're everywhere. We in your country.
We're also not only just in your block, in your kitchen, in your neighborhood, but at your local parties. But we're also on Pandora, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, and of
Mhm.
course YouTube.
All right. So, guys, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Tune in. It's hashtag Kush Convos Podcast on Instagram. Follow the page on Facebook, and also, all other platforms. You just heard it. Kush Convo is well present. They have a strong presence on the web, and they're here. You guys just met them, Ochanda, William, Maxwell, and then Kush. Welcome back, Kush.
What's going on? Also, Snapchat and Twitter. Those are the other handles we have.
All right, Snapchat and Twitter, you guys, you heard it. So we were talking about the Black Diaspora. We were talking about the African diaspora, African immigrants, and what's your take on that? Before we go there, I just want to mention this. We have a lot of comments, but this is, I'm very excited right now. You have no clue. I'm very excited right now. I'm from Ghana and Togo. I will explain. My dad is from Togo, and my mom is from Ghana. So half Ghanaian, half Togolese. And I represent on this platform West Africa.
Yeah,
And
Oh,
right
yeah.
now we have East Africa
yeah,
represented, South Sudan here, and Kenya here, right?
Yep.
I love this. I love this. And somebody said earlier, I need to see Kush. Buom.
yeah.
Hey, they love Kush, man. They love
Yeah.
Kush out here.
They need to see him, man.
Okay, Kush is here.
Yeah.
So, Kush, what do you think? Somebody said no, the diaspora means dispersed, and he continued by saying immigrant is as flawed because we have always moved around the world. And then we have another one here that said, oh, the same guy, every black is African. However, every African isn't black. North and South Africa proves it. Okay, you have a point right there. And then somebody just said, just learn something new today. Thank you. Thank you for all your feedback. And then we have, it's beautiful, love to see it keep elevating us. Yes, absolutely. And then I agree, however, we are all on the same page when it comes to spending money, giving our resources to non-blacks. Yay! Oh, it continues. Okay. Hashtag collaboration over competition. I love that. And then what do you think we should do to unite Black people all over the world? And we have Riley, and then we have every African country was named by no Africans. What are we really?
Woo-wee!
All right.
Hey, Kush. I know because Kush is our historian, and I know that his brain is just going 200, 300 miles an hour with all these comments and questions. Whoever Nzinga is.
All right, Kush.
Yeah, man, Gumak, shout out to you. Buom Dang, shout out to you. And the guy who said I need to see Kush, that's my cousin out in Africa. Shout out to you, Wuol. Thanks for tuning in, all of y'all. But I'm gonna say this, man. I think when we speak on the diaspora, we got to be conscious of how the diaspora feels now. It's not even about what is factual, but there's things that pertain that make people feel a certain way. So a person could be from the diaspora, but they tie themselves to different things. They're not consciously even tied to what Africa is or Africans. They pay attention to some other things. But us who actually do acknowledge the diaspora, yeah, it's anything that really comes from what Africa is at the end of the day. That acknowledgement, that RBG, that movement that the great ancestor Marcus Garvey stood for in the early 1900s, that's what the diaspora is, you know. So salute to that. And what we could do to actually unite Black people is a comment that one of our commenters mentioned. I think we should be consciously aware of how people feel. You know, so before we could even really talk about uniting, what is it that you want to unite for, and what are you willing to compromise and concede from? You know, so it's a deep topic. I won't take too much space on that, though. So yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for um, clarifying that. So right now, Kush Konvos Podcast, Afro Swag Media and Magazine. Guess what? We are all in Omaha, Nebraska.
Shout out to the O.
Yeah,
Oh, the whole town,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
We are all located and we reside in Omaha, Nebraska now. It's funny, but let's let the world know about the old town, Omaha, Nebraska. What's so special about these two communities, especially the Togolese community and the South Sudanese community in Omaha, Nebraska? Max?
So I'll start with what I admire from the Togolese community. So, and keep in mind, I'm looking from an outside perspective, looking in, but from what I can see, you guys are pretty united. I think someone asked earlier, how do we unite all Black people? The best way to unite us is financially, through building an economy together, trading
Mhm.
with each other. Once you're trading with somebody, it's harder for you to go to war and kill each other when you guys both have mutual interest in something, right? So I think as the more we trade and we work together, just like, you know, European countries will never go to war with each other after World War II because they realize it's bad business. You know, it's bad for business to go to war against each other. So Africans, we have to get to that point where we think to ourselves, it's bad for us as a people to go to war with each other. Our resources are getting stolen. Our people are being forced to cross bodies of water just to look for an opportunity that they could be getting in their country if it was just managed correctly. So for me, it's about trading with each other, inter-Africa, and transnationally with our brothers here in the U.S. as well. So a lot of people, they love the movie Black Panther, but I think they miss certain points of what that movie was about. At the end of the day, T'Challa, R.I.P. to Chadwick Boseman, was willing to give up his resources to empower all Black people around the world, not just the people of Wakanda. So I think a lot of us, we forget that our strength is in unity. I know it's a cliche term, but that's legit. That's the only way for us to unite. So back to the Togolese community.
Before it will be back to the Sudanese community, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so thank you so much for the kind words when it comes to the Togolese community. I really appreciate that. Before we continue, somebody wanted to know your name. So the one that says Kush Konvos Podcast right now is William or Maxwell. And then we have, of course, Ochanda there. Can see right now, but is present is Kush Buom, right?
I'll let
Okay.
you
Yeah.
All right. So, Max, you were telling us about the Sudanese community in Omaha. What's special about the Sudanese community in Omaha? The South Sudanese, I mean, South Sudan.
What's very special about us,
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, throughout our history, we've always been at war. Like I said, we just got our country in 2011. So we've been forced to be in wars generations after generations after generations. And when you're in a constant state of war, development doesn't happen. So we've been forced to be resourceful in the fact that no matter where we go, we've been dispersed all around the world. Like, we have a huge diaspora because unfortunately we've all had to be refugees almost every certain point, whether it's in Kenya, whether it's in Egypt, whether it's in Libya, whether it's in Zimbabwe. It doesn't matter. We're everywhere in the world. So it's kind of forced us to be resourceful and be very resilient. And I'm very proud of the fact that no matter where you put us on the earth, we're going to find a way to not only better ourselves, but what we need to do now is we need to collectivize our talents and our efforts and unite in that factor. So I'm very proud of us for being resilient. Now, I think the next step for us is to unite, not only within our country, within our tribes, within our clans, but we need to also unite the rest of Africa because no country is an island, right? So we're getting to that point now. And, we've talked off camera about this, representation matters. So we have a huge population. The biggest population in South Sudanese in the whole country is here in Omaha. We're the capital.
All right, hold on.
Yeah.
So in the whole country, you mean in the whole US?
Yes, the continental United States, yes.
The biggest population of South Sudan?
Yes.
Is right here in Omaha, Nebraska.
Imagine that. Imagine.
Say that again. Oh, wow.
Yeah. So having numbers is a great thing, but if you don't utilize that number by being organized, like I see the comment here by our brother Akindele, he says we're ripe to get elected in the office. And I agree with that because, like I said, representation matters. Any group of people that don't feel represented in their community or in that nation, they're more likely to rebel. And rebellion is not necessarily, picking up arms against the state. It's joining gangs. It's participating in insidious acts, like crime, violence, all of that. And all that comes from a lack of economy, right? So I think for us, we need to organize ourselves and know ourselves as far as what's the number of South Sudanese. Even though right now I know we're the biggest population, we don't have an exact number of how many people that we have. So we don't even know our own power essentially because we don't know that. And that just all comes from organization. I think Kush wants to add a little bit more to that as well.
Okay.
Yeah, just to kind of add some context to what William is saying, like when you look at the amount of, like if you look at the Sudanese community in Omaha, the breakdown is there's a lot of a certain type of people that are here. There's 64 tribes at the end of the day. There's a lot of Nuer and Dinka people here. That alone itself gives so much to the community in regards to the population, because it's really no way to pinpoint it, and we've been here since the mid 90s and early 90s and whatnot. What we could add to that, though, like William was saying, is actually occupying some of these things, because as long as we've been here, there's actually not much land that we do own. There's not much businesses that we do own. And to stretch it across the border, that's something we could even learn through business skills, which is another one of your ventures, Coach Dev. Learning financial intellect or economic science to that degree. We work hard, but we don't know where to put the dollar.
Absolutely.
I think that could add some context to exactly what my brother was saying here. But the population in the U.S., is definitely huge in regards to South Sudanese in the United States. If you look at the East Coast or even in the mountain region, Omaha is a hub. It's the heart and the homeland of Sudanese people out here. Yeah.
So we have a lot of Africans in Omaha, Nebraska. Do we have, do you know of any cultural arts center in Omaha?
I think Ochanda is actually fresh in the 402.
Okay.
He's actually a tourist himself. He goes through the community. I know he has some insight. So Ochanda, go ahead, brother.
All right. 402 is the area code of, Omaha, one of the area codes.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ochanda.
That's correct. Yeah, 402 is the area code for Omaha. You asked a question about the cultural. Is there any cultural arts center or any cultural center? Um,
Talking about the African diaspora.
mm,
Mhm.
just like you said, I'm new, so I have not discovered any. If there is, I haven't ran into any.
Okay.
Well,
All right.
I'll say the only art center that really matters, go and visit the Malcolm X Foundation.
That's right.
Okay.
Please do that. That's a foundation that's of the diaspora. Go there.
Mhm. And I know, I think Leo Lewis, if I'm not mistaken, he's the ED, the executive director. And someone says there is not. Okay. All right.
Um,
So,
One other thing I want to add, Deborah, is you asked like what
Not a, yeah.
is a highlight. You didn't use the word highlight, but what are some things about the South Sudanese community in Omaha? I've
mhm,
said this to our brother William many, many a times. It makes me smile every time that I say this, and I say this with pride. South Sudanese are the Jamaicans of East Africa, and when I say that, I mean
You
it,
don't know.
and I mean that in the context of just like Jamaicans, South Sudanese will never not let you know what their flag looks like. It's if they wear it on their wrists, if they have it in the middle of their living room wall, if it's right there on their license plate of their vehicle, you know what the Jamaican flag is, just like you know what the South Sudanese flag is. The other part, the parallel between Jamaicans and South Sudanese is that they're in your face. They let you know, hey, I'm South Sudanese. You will not know that this is not a South Sudanese, and they're proud of it. And why shouldn't they be? It's
mhm.
Kush Kingdom, right? So
Right.
um, that pride, that's one unique thing that you'll find that I see as far as the East African community. South Sudanese people are proud people, and they just like Jamaicans, they'll let you know, hey, like I'm here, I'm in your face, and you're gonna have to deal with me. You're gonna have to love me because I'm here. I'm not going anywhere.
Mm-hmm. And we have right now, I'm going back to Akindeles. That's the president of GABA, Global African Business Association. The president and CEO is Akindele Akinyemi. He said the African community in Omaha is ripe to get elected to office as getting appointed to key city boards and committees to create policies to impact our brothers and sisters in the community. Right now, there is a lot going on in Omaha, Nebraska, and the entire Nebraska. The community economic development. We have a lot of aspiring and rising entrepreneurs. We have a lot going on. It's just dynamic. When you say Nebraska, the good life, do you all attest there is a good life here in Nebraska? For those that recently came to visit Omaha, Nebraska, talking about Akindele, did you feel that good life? Guys, what do you have to say about the environment that we're all in right now in Omaha, Nebraska?
I think this is the time. I agree with Brother Akindele. We've actually had a conversation about this when he was here last week. If you look at the Somali community in Minnesota, right?
Mhm,
Huge numbers, right? But they also own business, they own malls, they own tax services, they own laundromats, they own everything. They have everything for their own. They could literally have their own village if they wanted to. But not only do they use that, so they use that economic power to drive their political capital by
mhm,
electing their own, campaigning for their own. So, Omar, what's his name? Omar.
mhm,
She was selected from her grassroots of her constituency based by her people powering her. And I feel with our numbers, we could do that as well here. So I do believe it's right, but we need to also reach out to all our business leaders in our community and be like, hey, guys, we need to pool our resources together and get one of our own. Because at the end of the day, if we're not sitting in that room, people are making rules, regulations for us that affect us. They say like there's good people. The curse of a good person that doesn't partake in politics as bad leaders. So we don't want to allow that to happen. And if we can do something about it, we need to do something about it. Every community has done that. If you look at China, China was built off of the economy of their diaspora, those working in California, in the minefields, and the gold rush.
Mm-hmm.
Business owners, they sent money back. China didn't just automatically find natural resources 40 years later. They created their human capital by educating their people, by creating businesses, by sending money back to their country. Like, we send money back to Africa, right? But our money tends to go to things that are not development related, right? Or there's so much that needs to be done that even the money that we send is not enough to really make a change. So for us, I think it just always comes down to economic factors, socioeconomic factors. But at the end of the day, it's about organization. Shout out to the Somali community, by the way.
Shout out to the Somali community. Ochanda or Kush, did you have anything to add before?
Yeah. As far as what is here and is it ripe here in Nebraska, me and Wardium recently, towards the beginning of the summer, attended an event put on by Ross Leaders. Ross Leaders, and the Ross, ROSS, stands for the official name of of South Sudan, is the Republic of South Sudan. It's this group of young South Sudanese individuals that highlight success stories going on in the African diaspora, in the Sudanese diaspora in Omaha. And this event that they put on was at I believe it was an art museum. And this particular night, this museum hall was decorated with all art, canvas art, sculptures, graffiti by South Sudanese artists. I didn't even know that there was that many South Sudanese artists in just in general in this area. But that just let you know like how much undiscovered talent and intelligence that there is here. And again, this was put on by an organization called Ross Leaders. So these are individuals that say to themselves that, clearly there has been either a lack of leadership or misleadership. But what we're going to do is we're going to educate and produce a leadership amongst our own. So go ahead, Kush.
I mean, there's not much I could really add in regards to that subject. My brothers here covered it. It's a ripe environment, and if we look at the optimistic and positive end, there's a huge trajectory going upwards for the diaspora in Omaha. There's not much I could add to that at all.
Thank you so much, guys. So you're going to hear more and more about Kush Konvos Podcast and Afro Swag Media and Magazine. We have a lot of future projects, and we're going to come together, join our forces, our effort, our resources, so that we can build upon this, community for our advancements here in Omaha, Nebraska. Like Akindele said, the community here is ripe, and the environment is good. We have everything I believe we need for our communities to prosper. So stay tuned, subscribe to our respective, YouTube channels. You can find us on Instagram, follow us, like our pages on Facebook, LinkedIn, follow us as well as all other platforms. For those that are just joining us, I'm going to play a little clip that will tell you the meaning of Kush Konvos Podcast. So we're going to take just 30-second break and we'll come back. Don't go away. Stay with us.
A question that I got is, I love that. Now, where does the name Kush Konvos come from? Is that a strain of some, of some plant? What is Kush?
And that's a great question because obviously because of what Kush is known to be now in this time of existence, it's known linked to something. But for us, the three of us at this table, and for all Nilotes across the world, what Kush is the Kush kingdom. And
The Kush what?
the Kush Kingdom.
Let's go.
Kush
Drop a Kush
Kingdom.
bomb.
Drop a Kush bomb. So it's a commemoration to the ancestors, you know, that were around before all these tribes existed, and some of the things that do ties together. So, which like us being culturally diverse in what we are, right? Kush is something that we do stem from. So, you know, we got to use that to bring us to the table. At
You
that
teaching
point,
me.
All right. Thank you so much for staying with us. For those that just joined, my name is Deborah Dogba. I'm the host here on Afro Swag Media and Magazine. And today we have very special guest, Kush Konvos Podcast. And we have Kush here. Welcome back, Kush.
What's going on, Coach Deb? How you doing?
Good. And then we have Ochanda here.
Peace, brothers and sisters. Welcome to Afro Swag Media Magazine, hosting Kush Konvos Podcast.
Yes. And Max William, welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, hey, Max, what's going on? How do you get to place so fast?
See, the thing is, I have like a time machine, but I can't.
Don't tell the government that, man. We want you around.
Guys, if you never watched any Kush podcast episode, this is just what you guys will experience whenever you watch. You see the interaction among all three guys. Let's demonstrate that.
Kush, it looks like this is like a game. So if you have like a basketball, go ahead and pass it to me. Don't be a ball hog, man.
Hey, man, I got you. Alley-oops all day. Lob City, man, we here.
We've been ball hawks since high school, for real.
Brothers, how are you guys doing today, by the way?
Man, I've been just trying to stay dry the whole day. It's been thunderstorming like crazy. Like I don't know about everybody else out there, but Omaha has been raining like crazy. So
Kush, forgive me, but Max said he had a time machine. I didn't know in those time portals like that weather was even a factor. Maybe you could elaborate on that, Kush?
I mean, I'm a whole robot, so I don't feel weather.
All right. So can we roll the black? Is it black, green, or what is it?
Roll out the RBG.
Okay.
Roll out the red, black, and green carpet.
And what is that? How do you do it?
Well, this is our historian right here. He can explain that exactly.
For sure. You don't roll it out for just anybody. So the fact that we're rolling it out for Afro Swag Magazine, exactly. Yep. Shout out to you. Shout out to Business Seal. Shout out to Coach Dev. You roll out the RBG for any black king or queen or anyone from the diaspora that is reaching their full potential or aspires to just reach the best of what they can be, you know. So that's really what it is. And the RBG, once again, red for the blood of Africa, black for the land, green for the land, and we need to own more of that land. There's too many benefiting, they're benefiting off of it. But, we need to take back what's ours, man. So let's do that.
Yeah, let's go, good.
All right. So we said, you guys said Ochanda is the voice of the podcast. And Kush, would you represent the historian?
Historian and chronicler.
Okay, and chronicle. What about you, Max?
So how we like to describe it, we a three-headed monster, all right? So Ochanda is the voice, right? Very distinct. When you hear that, peace, brothers and sisters, you know what time it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kush. Sometimes I think his head's gonna explode with how much knowledge he has, you know. So we call him our historian. So he's you can say he's the brain. You can say he's the brain of Three-Headed Monster. And it's for me, I'm the visionary. I'm like the eyes. I'd be the eyes of the Three-Headed Monster. I'm a cyborg, you know. So that, that's the easiest way I'd be able to explain that, if that makes any sense, you know.
It
That's
does. It does. Yes, Ochanda?
Yeah, it's a great way. Like you said, it's a three-headed monster. So it's perfect. This is my first time hearing him explaining like that. So I'm just as impressed as you.
So
Okay.
we're rolling out exclusive content for your show, Deb. So there's no
I'm ready for you.
Yeah, you know, in regards to like the three-headed monster, just to add more context, you know, Ochanda himself uh, is a very humble individual. He won't explain the amount of stuff that I actually learned from him. The same with Brother William here, South Sudan Max. It really is a three-headed monster, and we like to call ourselves Sudanese LOX. At least I do, you know. But yeah, it's a monster for the good, though. We're here to really build on so much destruction. It's all about optimism, and as much as we address issues, there's always solutions. So always keep that in mind of exactly what our direction is.
I love that. I love that. Wow. Anyone else? All right. So, guys, if you never tune in to any of Kush Konvos podcast episodes, you just had a demonstration. It's very engaging and informative and very interesting. Just tune in. Once again, you can find them on all social media platforms, including but not limited to Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. Obviously, subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's Kush Konvos Podcast, right?
Kush
Uh,
Call
Yeah, yes.
on YouTube.
all right. So it's 7:58. We have 2 more minutes before we end the show.
Okay.
Any shout out to anyone?
Shout out to our mom, shout out to our father, shout out to our grandmother, shout out to all our aunts. Shout out to everybody watching, shout out to everybody that supported, shout out to everybody that's texted, shout out to everybody that's not supported. You know, we love everybody.
Shout out to the haters, man.
But we like to focus on positivity over here, you know.
Of course, of course, of course, of course.
But we got a lot planned in collaboration with them as well. We can't really speak on it yet, but just know there's a lot of big things we bring for the community coming.
This is more of what's to come. Hold on, I'm just reading this. It's my very first time attending and listening to Kush Konvos. All right. I love the energy. Thank you. You know, it's comments like that, guys, that are listening and watching that keeps us attentive and lets us know. D Hill, you know, Kush Konvos Podcast in the building. That's right.
Shout out.
It's things like that that let us know that not only are we doing a great job, but we need to keep going. For those that are in the Omaha area, the 402 area, this upcoming weekend, they have Afro Fest. I believe it's called Afro Fest Omaha. Let me know if I'm saying that name incorrect. But Afro Swag Media and Magazine will be in attendance, as well as Kush Konvos Podcast. So you can do a live meet and greet with us and Deborah.
Yes, so Afro Swag Media Magazine has a tent there at the Afro Festival Omaha 2021, and it's hosted by Afro Maha, and we have two awesome and amazing individuals. We have Jubel and Judy Kiagari, and that's East Africa and West Africa right there.
Yep.
Coming together, joining the forces to create this amazing event. And like we said, we are also representing Eastern and Western Africa right here on this podcast right now. Mark said it, we have a lot of amazing and big things coming that we are working on currently. Come meet and greet at Afrofest Omaha 2021. It's going to be Saturday, September 5th at the UNO Stinson Park from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m., right? We will be there. You can miss us. You will see Kush Konvos Podcast and Afro Swag Media and Magazine. Any last word?
Pull up on us.
Kush.
Hey, we're gonna be outside, man.
And then for my last words, again, thank you everybody. Listen, not only everybody that was a listener to Afro Swag Media Magazine, but everybody, and thank you. This is my, I got my grandma watching, Grandma
Okay.
Joe. Hey,
Okay. Okay.
yeah, and so to everybody that was watching and listening, thank you. And if you get a chance to be at Afrofest Omaha, you might be able to get in Max's time machine and be able to go back to whatever time that you want.
I love that. I love that. Thank you so much. Oh, go ahead, please.
Oh no, go ahead. I'm gonna talk to him later.
All right. Thank you so much for tuning in for those that are watching. And for those that are going to watch this in replay, you can always go to Afro Swag Media and Magazine YouTube channel to rewatch the replay. Let us know by typing in the comment box #replay. That way we know that you're replaying this. And if anyone has any follow-up questions, please don't hesitate to send us those questions by Facebook Messenger or just type it in the comment box and we will make sure to get back to you. If you want to get in touch with us, it's #AFSwagMag on all social media platforms, or you can always get in touch with, is it #Kush Konvos Podcast?
No, if you need to reach out to us, IG, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Kush Konvos Podcast, and also via Gmail or email, excuse me, kushkonvos101@gmail.com.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here with us tonight, Kush Convo. We love you and let's get to work, right? Let's get to work for the advancement of our communities. Thank you for everyone that tuned in. Be safe out there and have a very good night.